Welcome to the CFO Whisperer podcast with your host, Declan Tyrrell.
Okay, so today I want to talk about risk. I want to talk about customers who are for sales opportunities, or all of a sudden stuff they should be doing are slowing up. They're worried about the risk of the payment. They're worried about the risk of the project, and either delaying the project, derailing it, or sometimes they start to slow it down where it's, well, we were going to do something big, can we now do something smaller? Proof of concept, working on all of this, and this is legitimate, and this is one of the things that happens in a recession or economic downturn, economic uncertainty, call it whatever you want. So what you're going to have tighter financial scrutiny by the CFO or that economic buyer. This is natural. This is going to happen, and there's going to be an element of fear. Only here's the thing, and this has come up. I ran a number of deal clinics in New York in December, and I ran 15 deal clinics, and if I say 6 of the deals that were stuck were all to do with risk. It's huge at the moment. It's absolutely huge. So here's my take on this. And here, I'll give you a couple examples as we go through. Often the risk, the customer, the buyer looks at the risk of the cost. So they will say to you, well, you're looking for X amount, 10,000, 100,000, a million, 100 million, whatever it is. And the risk, if it doesn't work, is that amount of money. Only here's the thing, that's not the risk. So often customers don't fully appreciate what the risk is. And often the risk associated with not doing something or slowing something down is far bigger to the business than the initial cost of whatever project you're working on. So it's really important when you get that risk, when you start to get that sense of slowing down, slicing it up, spreading it out, you've got to challenge it. You've got to peel it back and look at where the real risk is. You've got to look at what they're really trying to do. Now, if I give you I'll give you a real example here. We looked at one, what I would call a digital native. They're looking to go IPO, so they're looking to launch themselves onto the stock exchange by the end of 2024, or at the end of 24. That's what they want to do. They engaged in this project, which, if it went well, was going to generate an awful lot more revenue, as well as driving up the profitability. So this is cool. So this is one way. Then they got nervous. Then they're going, we don't know what next year is going to look like. There's a lot of uncertainty. Some of our clients are laying off people. Spend still, what are we going to do? So can we now do a proof of concept? And once we do a proof of concept, maybe we'll then roll it out piece by piece. So you're looking at probably a minimum of a 12-month rollout for this now particular project. Because the customer thinks the risk is in the cost to what they're buying in the project with you. That's not where the risk is. So if you look at it, we were able to peel this back and sort of say, look, okay, let's have a look at it. Where's the real risk? So you want to launch onto the stock exchange in 12 months' time. If you do this project and it goes well, then you will have a good run. You'll have a good 9 to 12 months run at this, where it's going to generate that value, where it's going to generate that revenue and that increased profitability that you're looking for. The impact that will have on your value of your business, so your share price as you launch onto the stock exchange, potentially is huge. So that's what you're playing for. So let's play for that. Now let's have a look at scenario 2, where you slow it down. Well, if you slow this down and you go through and you're going to do an awful lot of the work for the proof of concept or for that initial part of the rollout. So you're taking an awful lot of the pain early on, but you're reducing the size and the impact that this could possibly have. So now you're talking about a minimal amount of impact in Q1. Now you might say that's work, let's roll it out further, and you do some type of rollout in Q2. You're only really going to get maybe a quarter, if you're lucky, impact of this project on your revenue and your profitability before you launch onto the stock exchange. So I would say to you, where is the risk? The risk is in you not doing this quickly. You do it quickly and it works. The impact, the big plus, increased share price as you launch, which for a lot of people who are going IPO means in their pocket. But the upside of this is huge. The downside, it's not even that it's risk, it's absolutely going to have a far less impact on your business over the course of that 12 months when you start diluting it. And here's the thing, where is the real risk? If you pay the full amount for the project that you're looking to do and it has the impact, we're brilliant. If you pay it and it doesn't work because the market downturns or something else happens, then the least of your worries is the price that you paid for the project. Because you've now got perhaps it's the sustainability issue or a go live issue onto the stock exchange, wherever that may be. You may have to delay it. But I tell you, the least of the things you're going to be looking at is saying, oh, thankfully we only committed to doing this project piecemeal. The risk is associated in not doing it. And I say this to people all the time. What you have to do when you come across that risk objection with customers, you have to be able to anchor it against doing nothing or slowing it up. You need to be able to come up with 3 options. If the option is do it or don't do it, then they won't do it. If the option is do it, slow it down, or do nothing, now all of a sudden you can start to anchor it against the do nothing. Is it an option? Is it not? Often it is not, particularly in this current economic climate where people are scrambling for revenue and profitability, and often they cannot continue to do what they've always done the way they've always done it and succeed in this current climate. They must do something. So it's a case of doing the right thing and doing it quickly. So there can be risk discussions, objection handling that you can do around that, absolutely. But often what we can highlight is, I can see that you're risk adverse and that's perfectly natural, but the risk is not in you doing this project as planned. The risk to your business is far greater by you delaying it or derailing it. Okay, I hope that has helped. Talk to you soon.
If you're enjoying this podcast, please leave us a review.